I think one of the things we're proud of is that we didn't have to fly anyone from South Africa. We have quite seasoned and educated people that we could bring. So we thank you. We pride ourselves, or we call the best of the best. So if that's not what they're telling you where you are, they are lying. We're going to start on what I think is a personal even question for me. I think I asked it to I want to ask in terms of women in leadership. You have been in leadership for the past 14 years in executive positions. And I'm going to ask you the question that I asked you. My question has always been, where are the men? Because I and so I believe that a lot of times we come to these events and a whole lot of others where we speak higher, we vibe higher, and then I feel like is the world ready for this caliber? And I'm asking particularly in corporate, is we are ready as women, whether they like it or not, we're coming. But do you think corporate is ready for women leaders, especially in a culture with a lot of doctrinaire patriarchy? Is corporate ready for us?
Thank you. From my experience, corporate is not ready for us as women. There's still a lot of doubt in as far as women capabilities are concerned. So as a leader, I have really gone through a process of hard work. We as women, we convince a lot. You have to work hard for corporate to recognize you. If it's a man, it is assumed they know. It is assumed they can. But because we are women, we grew up in a society that said men are better than women. As women, we should be behind and support men. Corporate is treating us the same way. And when we get into corporate as women, we tend not to persevere. We tend not to fight for our space and for our spot. We normally, in my experience, you see women doubting what they're doing. You see women doubting what they can deliver. And all the time, they want a man to actually validate their existence. Corporate is not ready, and corporate will never be ready. I don't think in the near future it will be ready. We just have to push and make our mark. If we don't know ourselves as women, we don't know what we are worth. Corporate will always dictate who you are and what you're worth. So, like Meh said, it is not ready. We are ready, and we have to push. So as women, young and old, know who you are, know what you want, and just gun for that you want. Make sure that you plan, you have a vision, you plan, and you take each and every step as it comes. Meh Dineo indicated that we go to school, we get out of school, and we think we know. We're in a hurry. In 5 years, I want to drive a Mercedes-Benz. I want to be in an executive position, and so on and so forth. You may have the degree, but you do not have the knowledge. You do not know. So allow yourself to go into corporate and learn. Don't go into corporate and assume you know. You don't know. Go into corporate and learn. Start from the beginning. Give yourself time to learn. Ask questions. Ask difficult questions. Push. Open doors that are not open for you. Ask why him and not me? Why her and not me? In that way, you are guaranteed upward movement. You are guaranteed respect. You are guaranteed professional courtesy in every corporate that you will work in. So if we think we are women, we look beautiful, we speak well, therefore automatically things will happen for us. It doesn't work like that. Hard work and confidence. If there's one thing that also kills us as women in corporate, we are not confident. I joined the corporate world not knowing. I didn't know. When I moved from government to the private sector, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. but I knew that I loved being a human resources practitioner. I knew that one day I want to have a house. I knew that one day I want to have a husband. I want to have children. I want to have respect of my peers. I wanted to be in leadership. So I learned. It took me a while, but I started from the bottom. I learned. There were obstacles, there were doubts, but I persevered. And it is so unfortunate that you won't find men really dragging women down, but you'll find women dragging other women down. So my greatest challenge has always been in corporate, has always been women dragging other women down. I have my own experiences where a man would say, Mamosa, this is beautiful, you have done a stellar job. And a woman come in to say, but I think if she had, and the minute as women we say, but I think she could have, or she didn't. But men are saying you are doing a stellar job. You plant in men's minds that we are actually not worth being where we are. So corporate is not ready. We are ready. Let's go in, work hard, learn, persevere, push, ask questions, be confident in who you are. Don't assume you know. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Please keep it with you. It will keep moving. I want to ask something a bit personal. You can just answer it. I think Ausdineo talked about it. We go to school, we are done, we are surrounded by a lot of educated women in this place. And I think what you said also, we finish degrees, we are done, everything is fine. You have a master's degree and you come. But what people, or what I think is never said, is the more you know, the more you realize how much you still don't know. That's when we know that knowledge is doing its work. When you are done with, let's say, a master's degree, you arrive here, you're like, what am I going to do? The assumption is you already know identity. The assumption is that you already know your craft. What would be something that you would say to us about just being new, starting this thing of you don't know you're learning? What would be the things that you feel like we should do, young women, already not in executives? Yes, there's learn, but what do you think we should do to learn more about ourselves? Because I feel like a lot of times we don't know who we are, we don't know where we're going, and sometimes as you keep going forward. How do you think we can do it in terms of that?
As women, the first thing you have to think of is, what is it that I want to be? What is it that I want to contribute in life? Where do I want to see myself? If you can answer those questions, then it gives you an opportunity to learn who you are. You will know that if I want to be an executive, or if I want to be a mother, or specialize in whatever field I want to specialize in, I have to be a person of this stature. Normally in human resources, people go in because they just want to work. Human resources is not just about wanting to work. When I decided I want to be a human resources practitioner, the first thing I asked myself was, what is this field? What does it contribute to society? And what kind of person should be in that role, in that profession? I had to sit back and say, do I have the attributes that can actually align what I want to do with who I am? So if you're not self-aware, you will not get to where you want to be. So you have to be self-aware. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you want. And you have to understand what it will take for you, knowing who you are, what you want, what it will take for you to move from knowing who you are to getting what you want to get. So most of the time we lie to ourselves. We are not honest with ourselves. So you have to be honest to say, if I want to be in human resources, for instance, do I really have passion for people? Do I really have passion for advancing other people's careers? Am I really a people's person? It has to be from inside. And if you can't answer in the affirmative, at least those three questions, you are not meant to be in HR. You are not. Because being in human resources is about growing other people. You do not say, I want to be in competition with so and so. It's all about, I see this person, they have the potential. How do I help them to get to where I believe they should be? You sit with people down, you say, do you realize that you have this and that and that? And if you use it like this, you can actually advance. So know who you are, know what you want to do, know what the gap is between who I am and what I want to achieve.
Thank you, beautifully answered. Medinel, in the same breath, I want you to answer it in this particular way. What do you think we are in terms of older women passing on their skill, their knowledge to younger women? I'm saying this generally, could be in corporate or not. I'm always of the understanding that if another person saw flames in that turn, I don't have to go to know. And if we have relationships that are healthy enough for people to say, hey, la skaya, Jenan, what do you say in terms of mentorship? Do you think there's a culture like that? And what do you think we can do? Maybe can even share experience of mentorship of people who have helped you to be where you are.
I personally think that there is a great place for us to pass skills and knowledge to a younger generation. But also I believe there's a gap. Are we willing to learn from each other? I always find, for an example, as a doctor who is a specialist, for an example, I'll get to a place where there's general doctors. Their attitude and their spirit towards, I want to learn from you. That is what is not there to bridge that gap. Also, then the older person will be like, okay, I don't feel like I fit in. So I think it takes both ways. Ability to say, I know I do not know and I want to learn. And the ability to say from the mentee, from the mentor, that I know that I need to pass the baton to somebody else. That behind me or beyond me, there is more to achieve. So personally, in my own journey, it's example when I came back home, there is 2 doctors that are gynaes, Basotho gynaes, and I knew that the field was just not even expanded for any one of us. So I knew that I needed to learn from someone. So I started as an obstetrician at Queen Mamahato. But because I had to go and learn from those doctors. So how have you done it? How are you doing it? Practicing. That's where I started on weekends. And what I learned there was vital. But it's about the spirit of learning. It's about saying, and all the time, a younger generation will come up with better knowledge, better skills, better technology. But the other person will always be skillful and knows the field more than you. So there's another female doctor that I love with all my heart. She opened doors for me actually to say, you can even come and practice for my own. I'm going out, so occupy my space. Had I stayed at Queen Mamhado and said, oh, you know what, I know all, I've been in Bloom, I know better than they know, there's a lot of technologies that I know I could have not learned. So what I'm saying is that both generations should be willing to bridge the gap of knowledge and understanding and seeking wisdom. I am somebody who really loves wisdom. Wisdom it goes beyond knowledge to say, how do we do this, but why do we do this, and why do we have to learn from each other? So I think bridge a gap, there's really a lot for us to go. And personally, I think that it's only my observation that you can come to a place, Muhlala, where there's already been people there existing in that organization for years and don't even learn. I always say to someone, take 1 month and learn how the process have been. Learn the procedures, learn the skills, then only start talking. That's how I always view things. But somebody will come in and start talking. Start saying, this is how we do things. And do not learn that there have been people doing the same thing before you. You can learn and then advance on what they've been doing.
Thank you very much. I think that's well answered, and I think it answers the fact that it's both on, we'll call it a younger and older generation, just for the sake of the conversation, that is both from this side and from this side. I think my personal experience is, yes, that's very important. the spirit of learning, because I said I think we're a generation that is woke but lack depth. But there's a lot of depth, and I think sometimes it's seen even our character, how we handle things. But I think personally, if I can answer from the younger side, is that I don't see it I don't see the spirit coming also as well. Coming into, I worked as a young person. Like, I don't understand why and I think I'm very defensive because it's a lot like how buan talk a meeting. There's always a spirit of being undermined, and there's no how advanced it's questioned, and I think we form a defense. We're not willing to learn. So I think also that's another gap. But thank you for answering that so beautifully. Pinky kopa o ko re thuse mona hle kwena motho a re phathantseng ga lo kenya dileshe bana beso he re sebeditse yo he re sebedise motho a re phathahanya. I was going through your YouTube videos. Nenze re bua le Gemina Pinky ya qeta etsa ntho fela o sendela link. O so shebeletse. No abusive. Anyway, I was going through the episodes, and I realized that one pattern is really about women. And I think you explained it beautifully how so you just thought, let me just create a platform. I'm not saying I know it all, but let me just create a platform. There's what we call an imposter syndrome. People have it, educated, everything. You arrive here at home, you're like, do I even know what I'm doing? And I figured that would have been a question you would ask yourself, how Kalo is a YouTube channel? I figured. Like, who am I to do it? Because I can't go into papang. I think there's a lot of people, and there are a lot of people who would have wanted to do a YouTube channel. It's not only you are the brave one who started, but there are a lot of people, they've planted, I want to start, but then the imposters like, who are you to do it, right? And I think we celebrate that you started. That's what I was saying. That you started is that. About starting all of that, even if you can tell us about the day when you thought, you know what, whether it's good or not, I'm continuing. Can you just tell us how you started?
Thank you so much, Ausimpe. First of all, let me acknowledge starting is not easy. It's not easy at all. So when I started the channel, I'll keep referring to TK, Little Intwarel. I told TK, also, why Pinky? You're not even the most eloquent person we've heard. How's it in English media? You know, Roy, what am I doing? Hey, so that imposter syndrome has always been there. Because ke forantse ke re motho e mong a tswang sekolong o ntsa re Pinky o baneng a ithunya tje, so e dula e le teng yona ha re tlo tla re bua jang. It's always been there in pain, but I think the one thing I told myself was it's a disadvantage and an advantage. We live in a small town. So I think even before I started the channel, I knew but and I like sa tlo bua channeling hona motho ntse bua ka nna re jo we le money ho tla sa sebetsa mane ma sa sebetsa le money ho thusa kenya weave. So I think for me it's true, but how we batho. So le ha next tlo tala channel, I knew people are going to talk about other things. You know what, let me be brave ba bua ka ntho e teng. Okay. So I think I struggle with it a lot. I still do. But I decided to be the brave one to talk about. And I think what helped me a lot is, like I said, the topic that I started with, I did not know women could relate so much. From inboxing me, I don't have an experience of having a miscarriage in particular, but Dino was ready because so she put herself out there and said, inbox me if this is what you want to talk about. And you know what happened in that episode? I think that's the episode that kept me going. because it was so relatable. It was so relatable, and I think lucky enough, that's the time I also started consulting a gynecologist next to me. And then I realized, maybe have a miscarriage, didn't carry to term, this, that, and I was like, so meaning kila boob. And then I was just like, let's keep talking. It's a pity she couldn't also be here. I left an abusive relationship. Another observation, the things we don't normally talk about are the ones we're experiencing so much. We are a generation Instagram personally, I don't know if you like it more. So I guess we only show the good side. This bad side we don't show, but we are all going through it. And I was just like, let's come out there and talk about the not so good side in a safe space. And Horisa Lena video, it was not the most like to go to the analytics, to the YouTube, relate channel. When you look at analytics, Horisan's video on Facebook was not the most liked, as in terms of the share. Also because I guess the GBV the very shameful, but shameful. So so people are not liking it. But on the channel, it was the most watched for a very long time. And this said something to me. It said someone is not liking, but because they relate, they went on YouTube and watched the video of Horisa. And they were not inboxing me because I get Horisa and I relate. They were inboxing Horisa, and she said, oh my God, Pinks, it looks like this channel is not just rabu. It's actually healing people. It's actually educating. It's actually opening people's eyes. And I just kept going.